What's going on, guys? And welcome back to another live stream. Of course, this week we've got Sutton on Tuesday, so we're going to be going over that, previewing that game. Of course, we only played them like 2 weeks ago, so we pretty much know how they play and stuff like that and what went on. But of course, going over yesterday's game as well. Of course, the 0-0 draw. Not loads to talk about. We'll try and get as much in as we can. Of course, if you're watching it back on the live, then do leave your predictions down in the comments. And of course, if you are watching it live, then get your comments in. As always, please like the stream. Obviously, Harry's already in as well. Live stream gas. But yeah, of course, we got Neil back as well tonight, and of course Benji as well. How are you lads both doing?
Pretty good, mate. Pretty good.
I'm all right, mate.
Good. So yeah, obviously getting in. We've got a few comments already. Big up to Ravi as well. Can finally catch a live stream as well. Yeah, rough as toast gas. Yeah, that was funny. Of course, yeah. Of course, Neil missed it, but yeah, it was Harry and that they were commenting like gas. Like it was back on the live. On the way back. Evening to Vaughan as well. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I mean, starting off, of course, with the Mansfield game, getting you going with you first, Benji. What did you make of the lineups? Of course, there was no Anthony Evans. Barton did say, I think, on Friday that he's going to be out for at least 10 days, which means he'll miss, of course, the Tuesday game. We'll miss Stevenage, and then we'll probably miss the Leyton Orient game as well. But yeah, what did you make of the lineups and how the game went?
Lineup-wise, I wasn't too surprised. Apart from obviously the only real decision for me was whether or not decision, but happening was whether or not Evans would make it. And I was pretty excited, to be honest, to see Elliot Anderson. I thought some of the moves that he had away against Sutton, showed that he has the capability to play further forward in an attacking midfield role. So that was interesting. And then bit surprised that Grant didn't make it, but obviously he's being saved with a tough run of games ahead. And I know he just had an injection, so hopefully he'll be ready for Saturday. Game was a bit weird, really, wasn't it? I thought early on Mansfield did quite well they were quite measured in the press. So what I mean by that is they weren't, going over the top and then just, zooming right up to men and letting them run around them. They were just like basically pressing the space well and being aggressive enough to cut out passing lines. Wind didn't obviously help, but we didn't really manage to play any football in the first half. Just a real shame that in the second half we just always seemed to be missing the final ball, or couldn't get the ball out from under our feet, or the cross was just off or something like that. A real shame about the penalty as well. Like Aaron Collins going absolutely mad just shows how honest he is about it, because everybody, including like all the 700 Mansfield fans in the ground, knew that was a penalty. But I don't think you can blame it on things like that at the end of the day. You only have to look at what happened with Whelan's what should be goal on against Oldham on the Tuesday night to show that these things even out. So it's a point in a clean sheet against the form team in the EFL. We'll take that, but we have to translate that into some points this week. That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Lewis as well. He actually couldn't go. He's got COVID, so hopefully he's better soon. But yeah, even in Ollie Watkins, he's saying, of course, a stupid comment I made on the coach on the way back. Big up to Wayne as well, Coach Gas as well. But yeah, it was frustrating, but obviously, it was annoying. I just find it's so frustrating how we haven't really seen a 90-minute performance at home this season, like a full 90 minutes. And again, another poor first half. I don't know why it's all seems to be all the time now at home. We never play well in the first half. I don't know what the difference is, or why we come out so slow in the first half and then second half we come out better. But yeah, Neil, what was your thoughts on the lineup and the game in general?
I didn't mind the lineup, to be honest. As long as I'm always pretty happy, as long as you've got that defensive framework of sort of Belshaw with Connolly and Taylor in there, with obviously Coots and Finley in front of that. As long as you've got that defensive framework, I'm pretty happy of whatever happens in front of that. Like you can chop and change and move stuff about. As long as you've got that continuity and how we are with those lads as far as that spine, that defensive spine, I'm never too bothered, to be honest. I think we're always going to be in a game. The game itself, it just screamed of two sides that were desperate not to get beat. They never really wanted to gamble too much in the final third. Rovers naturally, like any side does, if you come off the back of a poor result and you're going to go into the next game against a good side, you do take a while to sort of feel them out and see how you're going to get on. But it was one of them where I think we could still be out there now and it'd still be 0-0. They were just two sides desperate not to get beat. Mansfield wanted to continue their form, come to Rovers. They'll be happy with the point, come the end of it, come away. And yeah, Rovers never really wanted to gamble. They wanted to obviously remain solid, not push too far. We struggle massively. When we ain't got a back to goal centre forward, we do struggle. We struggle massively to get up the pitch and really do anything in the final third, because we're really cautious about what goes on behind us, because we can get got at.
Yeah.
Us not having a back to goal centre forward for basically God knows how many weeks on end now, it does hurt us, and we just have to try and find a way. Like, we just don't create much, do we? We just don't really create much. We have a lot of the ball. Our ball retention's really good, but there's got to be an end goal to it.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like, we've been sort of struggling. It was sort of like the last sort of 3 or 4 games, especially. Of course, we had the Walsall game where we pretty much only had the one chance. Again, it was Collins up front on his own, no real height to bring him or Evans or anyone into the game. Then, of course, we had the Sutton game, which will away game, which we'll talk on more. But again, the same, only 2 real chances, and of course the penalty. And then Oldham again didn't really create nothing. And again, I think we had 1 shot on target yesterday, which sort of sums it up. But then even though Mansfield had a lot of the ball, especially first half, they didn't really look like scoring either. I thought we were really good at the back, especially in the second half. I thought Taylor just shows how good he is and how much we missed him on Tuesday, winning everything. And, I thought Luca Hall was good as well. And Anderton, I thought he'd come into the game better as well in the second half. But, I mean, get both your guys' thoughts on the penalty. Because there was actually a few, in my match reaction, there was actually a few people that commented, like, how is that a penalty? It's a blatant dive. But, and also on Twitter, I want to get your thoughts, Benji, and get everyone's comments as well. Did you think it was a penalty?
It was a penalty, and that's that. I quite enjoyed the Rovers admin, who needs a pay rise, by the way, who did the rubbing eyes emoji with, and then when you put the glasses on, it was just like a stone wall. I thought it was quite funny. Actually, if I'm very honest, though, when I saw it live, from the angle so the camera was like pointing towards the incident, so Collins's run is towards the camera in that sense. I actually thought he did sort of like almost try and somersault round a bit, but when you watch it back, you can't deny that there's double contact actually, because both his arm is out and his leg, and he goes over it, and it's just there's never a world in which that's not a penalty. You can get the purists who are just saying, because he's had some kind of, it looks like he might have tried to make the most of it. Yeah, who gives a shit? That's double contact. He's gone down, and that's a penalty every day of the week.
Yeah, I agree. Evening to Gordo as well, saying evening peeps. Yeah, keep smashing the like button as well, and also keep getting in your comments. Neil, what about you? Is that a blatant penalty for you?
Mate, I can't believe there's people even saying that it wasn't. Like, there's not enough help out there for you if you think that's not a penalty. It couldn't have been any more of a penalty. For me, even if you didn't see the foul, all you have to do is look at O'Toole and Hawkins' reaction to know that is a penalty. Even if you didn't see the foul and you just showed the reaction, you can say there's a foul gone on there. I mean, and this is what I'm saying about, this is why I think we'll just miss out. It's games like that and officials like that that'll cost us in the long run. And that's why I think there's games like that we could take points from if things go our way, but there's too many games like that, and there's too many officials like that in League Two that will cost us. Yeah,
it's just, I mean, you're exactly right as well. Like you said, the reactions, it was obvious because O'Toole just looked down and he was like, "Oh no," and then Hawkins as well, and it was just very, very frustrating. And yeah, like you said, you brought it up. I think last week, decisions like that, even though we didn't create much like that, if that was a penalty, then when we score, then we're taking all 3 points. But like you said, I mean, obviously overall looking at the game, no one deserved to win. But like you said, if you're getting big decisions like that go against you, and people, and this, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how some people were saying it's not a penalty. It is completely obvious. Gordo saying still a point better than no points. Yeah, but like we said as well, last 3 games without a win. I think we'll get onto it more, is that Tuesday is massive because, of course, it's one of our games in hand. Obviously, as well, talking about, the main performers, going with you, Benji, what sort of, even though there weren't really much in the game, what players stood out to you during that game on good performances?
The first person, without even having to do much, was Belshaw. It just shows him just playing shows how much assurance and confidence he gives to our defence, and so we're able to play a much higher line. You saw how deep we were with. Obviously, we didn't have Connor Taylor in as well, but so my dog's trying to join us. I'm sure he's got a lot to contribute because he watched on Saturday too. But yeah, even obviously we didn't have Connor Taylor on Tuesday against Oldham, but so we did drop deep with Harries and different personnel, but we just get that confidence from Belly because we know he's going to sweep behind, and presumably his verbals are a lot better towards the defence as well. Hull was great; he was solid. I think he was rewarded with his new contract, and then showed a solid display. Connor Taylor, what a guy! One thing that impresses me most about Connor Taylor is his ability to win free kicks in defensive areas. So like he'll be running towards goal and he'll just put his body across in a good position, and so his legs tangle the defender, and that's a free kick to us all day. Buys us time, calms the situation down. He's so good at heading the ball as well. We knew that anyway, but if you watch him intently, he'll stay with his position for a little minute and he'll just go, and time has run perfectly, eyes on the ball the entire way, almost always wins a header, and he's just a rock. Who else impressed me? Everyone else put in fair performances as well. I thought there was a lot of endeavour on the pitch in the second half. It's just such a shame that we're just taking till 45 minutes to get going. Like you said, we didn't have a 90-minute performance, but man of the match was Taylor all day long, and who was definitely the best player on the pitch. Yeah,
absolutely. Even into Simon as well, tuning in, saying Thomas deserves more game time. That's the thing with Thomas. Like he just don't really do much. Like he got a run of games. Certainly he played away. It was always going to be tough, but then there was the Walsall game. He started. He done okay, but like we said, we expect more from players. Of course, Anderson, Harry Anderson, shall I say, also came back into the starting 11. I think he done pretty well, but it's always going to be hard because he's been out with a while and niggles and stuff. But going on to you, Neil, what about you? What, as well as talking about Harry Anderson, what other sort of players did you think played well?
I think as far as a reaction from what happened at Oldham, Luca Hall played well because he was an absolute cannon on Tuesday at Oldham. He was terrible. That's the worst I've ever seen him play. He was a mess of it. He was a mess. So he came back in. His reaction was good. I just think it was always going to be like that. Like I said, you've got that defensive frame, but when you've got Taylor, Connolly, Belshaw, Coots and Finlay in that spine, put a back to goal striker with us. That's a pretty strong spine of what you'd probably go with week in, week out. And the continuity helps. Belly behind that. It's always like we have not got an issue when they play. We have not got an issue from set pieces. It's no shock to me that, like I said to you at Sutton, when we conceded, that goal doesn't go in if Belshaw's in goal, because there's no issue around who goes where, who picks up who, and they know that if Belshaw comes, he comes and he stays and he keeps coming. There's no stop start. There's no issue. That's the problem with Jacola. He's an old school goalkeeper. He's a good shot stopper, but that's pretty much where it stops with him. Yeah. They don't have to look over their shoulders as much with Belly because he knows it will sweep up. And I just think that's what it is. That continuity and that having that basic framework of that spine of the side, we'll always be fine no matter who we play. We might not win every game, but we'll be a damn sight more solid, and from dead balls will be near on perfect.
Yeah.
But as far as who impressed me, I think the reaction from Luca Hall's good as someone of being of that age to be able to come off of the back of that bad game and put in that performance. The other one for me is just Collins. He's just tireless, and he's feeding off scraps. He's running the line. He's trying to do pretty much everything he can up there by himself, with not much help. Like the penalty, he's won all by himself because he's gone on the outside of Hawkins. I rate Ollie Hawkins. I think he's a good centre half, to be honest, for the league, and he's pretty much the matchup and the identical of what Taylor is for us. He does exactly the same thing. I like Ollie Hawkins, but he skinned him on that occasion. He got O'Toole and all sorts of problems, and he won a penalty, really, didn't he? But yeah, Hall and Collins for me Saturday.
Yeah, Yeah, I completely. Yeah, like you said as well with Collins, even though he might not have the height, and he's not that number 9. He's more of a player that plays off of a big man, and of course that's what we've missed for as a while. Feels like ages since Loft played, and it has been really. What is it? The last game he played was Swindon, wasn't it? That was the last game Loft played. So yeah, it was a while ago, especially with all the Tuesday night games mixed in with that as well. And of course, Leon Clark, last time he played was at Scunthorpe off the bench where he got a goal. But yeah, Gordo saying Belly's been one of the signs of the season. Yeah. Considering I don't think many of us heard of him or who he was, and yeah, he's been amazing. And like you both said, we look just so much more solid, and like you said, Neil, I remember when that the goal went in at Sutton, and we just said, and everyone knew anyway. It's just if Belly was in, he'd have just stayed on his line, and he would have caught it, because that's basically how they scored. Bukola come out and miss the ball and whatever. Vaughan saying concerns we may have games in hand, but we have to start winning more, especially taking points off our forthcoming fixtures. Agree. How long is Clark and Loft out for? Well, Clark's back on the grass, as Barton said. Loft, I don't have a clue. Barton said a few weeks, but who knows? But if we're going to do anything, we definitely need them back. And of course, we need Evans back as soon as possible. I think we definitely missed Evans. I think he was, a really, really big miss. Even into Kieran as well. Do you guys still think we'll make playoffs?
Ask me at the end of the week.
Yeah. Ask us at the end of the week. It all depends. Even we just need to. It's going to be hard, especially without Evans. But we need to start creating more and use and play more of our game, and not sort of copy everyone else's game, because we're sort of playing a lot of long balls and it just doesn't suit us. When we play it along the floor, there was a good spell in the second half where there was a few flicks from like Finley, then he flicked onto Collins, it went out wide, and that was when I think we won the penalty. We need to play more like that. It's like Northampton when we had, I think it was Evans and Nicholson up front. We played it along the floor. We looked really good, but as soon as we start long balling it, and it just isn't how we play properly, and we just need to get the ball on the ground more. Gordo saying, think we'll miss out personally. Ravi saying, question, did the manager find... I think it was a right team selection, especially without, Evans injured, Loft and that injured. Gordo saying, I think we'll release Anzi in the summer. I think he's out of contract, and I think he'll probably be leaving. He's done well, but injuries has cost him a lot, and he's, like you said, like Neil and Benji both said, he's not the sort of keeper we're looking for. I think Belshaw coming off his line, it just gives us a lot more confidence, done it, with Belshaw in goal. Just a quick question though, Benji, I'll go with you first. How much do you think we missed Evans yesterday? Because I thought Anderson done okay, but for me personally, obviously he's completely different sort of player to Evans, but I think there was a few times where he done really well, like he took on a few players, but then he just lost the ball doing too much. How big of a miss, especially in the 3 games he's sort of coming up, how big of a miss is Evans?
The first thing you worry about when Evans isn't on the field is delivery. I actually thought, credit to Paul Coopsey, wasn't that bad from set pieces. So I stopped watching them intently after the first 45, but they weren't too bad. Obviously, he hasn't scored any worldies like Evans has yet. The good thing about Evans is when you've got him on the pitch, he changes his game, be it the type of game, if it's not suiting his normal sort of agile kind of display, then he'll get himself into the game by dropping deep, being tenacious, and we've seen that he can be snappy in the tackle as well. Did we miss him much? I think we might have got a little bit more out of the game if we had him in there, but Elliot Anderson is just going to keep developing. I think he's one that if we give him a run of games now, in a few more games, we might start to see a little bit more from him. I don't think he really stamped his authority on a game yet, apart from a good cameo display against Sutton. And so it'll be interesting to see how, all right, dog's woken up. It'll be interesting to see how he performs in that role. So we probably would have got a bit more confidence and assurance from Evans in there, albeit if he had played, he would have had a knock. So a fully fit Evans, we miss, whoever comes as in his replacement. I actually would like, if we're chasing a game at some point and we're not playing like a physical side like Sutton, I'd be interested to see what Thomas can do in that hole, because we know he's got that agility, although he's had some good form running at people on the right-hand side recently. Nicholson could probably do a good job in there, or Collins if you want to push someone up behind the striker as well. So I'd actually like to see us switch it about a little bit more, but certainly against Sutton, I don't think it's an option to play Thomas in that hole. But yeah, we just need Evans back, really, don't we?
Yeah. Ravi saying which players link up well when they play together. I think Evans as well, of course, he links up well, but I think we linked up really well in the Swindon game when we had sort of Collins was on the right, Loft was up front, and then Evans, of course, was in behind, and then Nicholson. But of course, we desperately need Loft, especially Loft. I think sort of looking at the Clark signing, it wasn't really the right signing because it was pretty obvious, even though you can't say, but he was gonna get injured, at his age and how he hardly didn't really play much at Shrewsbury. Big up to Max as well, just joined. Sorry, mate. No worries. Of course, if you're late or whatever, you can just catch it up if you wish after the stream's finished. But yeah, Neil, going with you as well. Are you sort of the same with how much do you think Evans not playing was a big miss?
It's going to affect you, isn't it? Like as a side, as far as lads being out there, he's your talisman, isn't he? He's the one that that if things are on a bit of a lull, and it was on a lull for 90 minutes really, he's pretty much the one that can spark. So like I said, he can deliver you a moment. He can be playing bang average, but he can deliver you a moment as someone. That's what you sort of cling on to. Like there's loads of sides that have had him over the years, and when he's not out there, you sort of look around and you go, right, who's the next one you sort of rely on to try and do something? I think it's probably Collins that you'd look at on Saturday to do it. But when Evans isn't out there, as a side, as players, they're going to look to him. They always do, don't they? Look to him. They try and shift him the ball in the final third. They always look to see where he is, because he's either going to deliver a pass, or he's going to get a shot off, or he's going to glide past someone. And most sides need him. Most sides need players like that. And it does show when we haven't got him. Yeah, he's just someone you look to, isn't it? When you get on the half turn, you look in the final third. He's like, well, where is he now? Where is he? Because you want to get the ball to him. And when you haven't got it, you sort of second guessing yourself of where do we shift the ball to now, as far as the pattern of play goes. As far as the Anderson thing goes, the Elliot Anderson things, I'm not sold on him. I like people making out he's going to be the next Gaza. All I've seen is a couple of nice touches from Sutton. That's not superstar material for me, I mean, I still don't know what he is. He hasn't done anything for me to suggest that he's this world beater. He's just a 19-year-old kid who's come on. You might look great in under 23s. Wonderful. Come and play up against an area centre half and an older midfielder who wants to lift you. It's a different game completely. You look at Matty Longstaff. He's come from playing in the Premier League. Didn't really have a sniff on Saturday.
Yeah,
it's completely different. It's almost a completely different sport.
Yeah,
you've got to adapt to what you're involved in. He hasn't shown anything to me for me to trust him to start him.
Personally, I think he hasn't had enough time to adapt to our style of play and stuff to expect that much from him. I also don't think that he was supposed to be a world beater. I think that he's come as a real top talent and a prodigy, not necessarily someone who's going to come on and make a humongous difference. We know he's got the qualities, but that's a talent that needs developing and also needs time to adapt to our style of play, and also more time to show it. We saw some nice touches and some good movement in tight situations against Sutton. I don't think that he was meant to be the finished article, so I don't think we can expect too much from him. So that was what his second start again. We'll give him Oldham because that was a really difficult time for most players in the squad. Let's be honest, and he did okay. Again, he certainly didn't look massively out of place, but I think we need to give him time, and we'll see how he develops with the run of games.
That you can make excuses for players week in, week out. At the end of the day, he came with a whole lot of hype. There was a lot of fans saying about how good this kid was. I haven't seen anything from him yet to suggest he's amazing. He might be decent for the squad, but for me, he's not turned on anything for me to say that this kid's going to be special.
Yeah, no, I just think it's people can't expect too much from him straight away, because I don't think he was. People might have said that he's got a lot of talent, but he isn't the finished article, and he is a young kid at the end of the day. He came to us as a prodigy, and that doesn't mean that he's just going to walk all over the opposition straight away. He's not going to do it in his first 3 or 4 games. He's shown he's got some touches. Let's see how he grows.
We're just carrying him at the minute. I think he's not done anything. He's been out there and he's played. But as far as someone coming in and meant to improve us, it's all very well saying we've got to give him time. Well, how much time do you give someone? You come in. You've got to make a stamp on what you do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like you said, it's completely different. But the more games he plays, obviously, the more he's going to learn about the team and the system and the sort of strength and sort of the way League Two football is, because it's a lot of long ball, a lot of headers involved, and it's a completely different game, like we said, to the youth football he's played. But I hope he will get better the more he played. Matt saying first half wasn't good enough. Second half, I thought Rovers took control of the game. Penalty was blatant. I didn't see the replay back. Yeah, it's funny as well that on the Rovers highlights it didn't even show the penalty, which is quite funny. Collins' booking was a disgrace. I know. Big up to Mr. Tatman as well, going with an early prediction, saying we'll win 1-0. Aaron Collins with the goal, hopefully. Big up to Devils United, Maisie. I'll be on a channel at 7:30. I'm doing like a Premier League quiz thing. So yeah, big up to Maisie. Go and subscribe to her channel. And yeah, I'll see you later. Big up to BRC Tom tuning in. Anderson was decent. Yeah, it was good that he was back. Again, I thought first half it was tough because up against it was funny. Like Akins can literally play anywhere, and I thought second half, he was right back. Second half, I thought he was class, and left back in the first half, and I thought he was good. But yeah, I thought, and it was good that they kept switching sides, Nicholson and Anderson, and hopefully he'll start again on Tuesday. Obviously, we'll get up to our predictions for that game. Gordo saying, yeah, I agree. 1-0 different pitch. Think we struggled on Sutton's pitch. Yeah, I agree. Big up to Josh as well. All right, lads, who are up the gas. Big up to you. Yeah, smash the like button if you already haven't and you're enjoying as well. And if you are new, then do subscribe. Appreciate everyone tuning in as always. Ravi saying, what are the strengths and weaknesses when you play? I think strengths is that we. I mean, that's a good question, to be honest. I mean, I'll go with you, Benji. What are the strengths and weaknesses of Rovers? Your opinion?
I find that I don't know. I really don't know about the strengths, to be honest, because I think we've got a style of play, and there's a lot of interchanging, running between lines, running at people as well. So I think our attacking midfield is good. I think we do have a lot of creativity. That's another strength, and we do have some good dead ball specialists as well. Weaknesses depends on who's in the team for me and how we set up. I think we take too long to get going. If teams get us from the off and they're aggressive, they'll quite easily find some joy in a lot of games. I think it's difficult to say we do. I definitely think our best strength is our attacking midfield. We do have a lot of creativity, but we are too easy to beat if we can. If somebody gets us early on and gets ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Neil, what about you? What are your thoughts? Are you sort of the same, or?
Oh no, I think we're our biggest strength is how we set up with our best side. We're damn hard to beat. I think with our best side, like I said about that defensive framework, when we've got that playing, there's not many sides I don't think that'll get a good lead on us and really boss a game. We manage games pretty well, I think, when we play with that spine on that side. We sort of, even if we don't have a lot of the ball, our distances are good, our chat's good, we move, we shuffle well, and we're defensively strong as a unit. We can't put games to bed. We don't create a lot. We don't score loads of goals in games. Like we don't blow sides away, and we don't open sides up. We have got these players. Like Evans, Collins, Anderson, Saunders, and that. But ultimately, if you look over the course of a season, we've not blown anyone away with goals. That's what I'd say. If I was looking at a side coming to play Rovers, I'd be like, you'll always have a chance. You'll always be in it because they'll never put you to bed.
Yeah. That's the problem with Rovers. We don't score loads. We don't create a lot, and like you said, Benji, depending on the team and who's in defence, we have conceded a lot of goals. We've conceded 39 goals, I think, in the league, which is pretty terrible and is nowhere near sort of top 7, let alone top 10 form. Mr. Tapman saying if Rochdale can beat Sutton at home, then I'm pretty sure Rovers can do the same. Hopefully, Lewis saying take a moment. That was from the little thing with Benji a minute ago on Anderson. But yeah, no, it's always good to get different opinions as well. Neil's on one tonight. Yeah, I mean
I just don't buy into the hype of the fella. That's all. Like he's a 19-year-old kid who's come from Newcastle, but ultimately, it's you've got. What have we seen so far? What have we seen apart from a little cameo at Sutton? That's all we've seen, haven't we? Like, there's no point getting ahead of yourself and saying this kid's going to be amazing. If he is, then all the better. But you can only go on what you've seen so far. Do you know what I mean? You can look at highlight reels and everything. I've got eyes. I can see what I'm looking at in a Rover shirt, and he ain't done nothing yet.
Yeah. I mean, with me, I think he. I don't think it was really the right game for him to start on. I think with sort of young players and players that's only played sort of under 23s in the Premier League, I think the best thing to do is just give them cameos. I think again, talking about the game and the lineups on Tuesday. I wouldn't be starting him. I'd think he'd be better off the bench personally, but we'll get on to that. Tom saying, Neil, mate, he's played like a game in a bit. What do you want him to do? Thumping a hat trick on his debut.
Just show us something. Show me something. If this kid's meant to be as good as what people are saying he is, then show me something.
Yeah.
Dane bypassed him on Saturday, like Oldham bypassed. Saturday bypassed. He never got. Yeah. He's not got a grip on anything yet. He's not got a grip on the game. You've never looked at him and gone, "This kid's a player."
Yeah. It is true. He also didn't answer to Connor's booking it. Yeah, fourth official was pathetic. Weakness is defending set pieces. I mean, it was at the start of the season majority. I don't think apart from when it's like you said, like we talked about, without Belshaw in goal, it was and Taylor. The Oldham game without Taylor at the back, we looked shocking and conceded from a set piece, and against Sutton, Yukola coming out randomly and didn't get nowhere near the ball we conceded. So Tom saying EFL bar started doing ref interviews. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do it because they'll always bottle it. You're saying not to start Elliott because he hasn't shown it, but you forgot Hall and Taylor weren't good enough until a run of games. Yeah, but it was just for. I mean, for me personally, I would. I think you just got to ease them in, especially where he hasn't played a lot of men's football, and that's just my opinion. Like we said, it's all about opinions, and it's good to get obviously everyone's thoughts. What's the link up with him? Yeah, midfield is usually good. Like we said, I think we're missing, Loft and Clark, target men. Yeah, but that was only because Carlisle would. I mean, first half again, we were poor against Carlisle. Second half, it was only because we had the brilliance to bring on, like Thomas, Nicholson. He brought him on, and they just switched off the last 20 minutes. That's how we got the goals. But we haven't, like a 90-minute performance. We haven't blown anyone away. Tom, I don't think Neil understands that Anderson has good potential on FIFA. Season can't remember playing the same team for 2 games in a row through injuries and suspensions. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing Nolan. Yeah, me too. I think it'll be mainly next season. I don't think he'll play much this season. Yeah, only potentials. But obviously, getting on to course the Sutton game. Of course, we did play him a few weeks ago, drawing 1-1. Going with you, Benji. Of course, we all know, but what can you remember mostly from that game? And of course, the FA Cup game as well, where we did win 2-1 at home.
I think it was a different game from the recent game the other Saturday, literally because of the pitch and the conditions might not be fantastic, but if you've got a firm, bouncy, semi-artificial pitch, it's always going to play different. We're on our own ground, and I think at the end of the day, we should back ourselves with the tools we've got, our resources and our disposal to do the job. We know they'll provide a big physical test. What's different is Sutton aren't as good away from home recently as well. So in their last 5 games, they're sat down at 15th in the form table. They've only won one of their last 5 away games. We've won 3 of our last home games. We've scored 8 and conceded 4 at home. But they've conceded more than they've scored away, and that's quite a lot of goals. So it's 12 in their last 5. I think it'll be goals, and I think we just have to try and play our game. We know what they'll bring, and we know how to play against them, because we just have to watch the review back again of what they did. They'll try and do the same. But we showed that once we could finally get our foot on the ball and pass it and try and play a bit more of our game, then we're a certain threat for them. So we'll have to be on our game. We'll have to be up for the physical fight as well. We might have to deal with a bit of an aerial bombardment, pacey wingers. What I thought they did really well in the first half in the recent away game was second balls, where they positioned men quite aggressively, quite between the lines, and won all of those second balls, one possession back, high up the pitch quite a lot. So we'll have to be aware of that. But win the physical battle, and then play our game, and actually get going from the off rather than waiting until 45 minutes like on Saturday. So, and then we'll do well.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing. I think I think for me, it's all about getting an early goal. We need to start well and get an early goal, because the more it goes on, I think the more it will suit Sutton, because they know how to defend, as a unit. Like you said, first and second balls, they pretty much won every one of them in the away game. So yeah, that's the main thing. I think we need to actually start well in a home game, which I can't remember the last time we actually did, but it needs to start now if we want to. Obviously, we need to get back to winning ways, like we talked about, 3 without a win, and like we said, we know how they play. They're very good, team wise, and like we said, how they line up, and how they play for each other and etc. But obviously, Neil as well, like we know how they play. But what can you think? We can do better. Sort of starting well and etc.
You just got to move the ball against Sutton. You've got to move the ball as quickly as you can away from it, because they're going to look to draw you into a scrap. They'll look to draw you into a physical fight where the ball's going to be in the air as often as it can, and just pick the piece off it, because they'll back themselves on second balls. So they're going to try and keep the ball moving as much as they can back to front as far as going direct. I just think against Sutton, you've got to get the ball down and move it and try and get them running and chasing, because they want the game in front of them constantly. If you look at how their back 4 lines up, they want the game in front of them all the time. It was really hard when we played them away. It's really hard to stretch them, because they pretty much sat on their 18-yard line, got it out to their fullbacks, boomed it straight up to the top, and tried to get, who was it? It was that Adji boy and that the Dutch man running off of it.
Yeah,
that's basically their out ball, and they'll look to work off of that and win set pieces and try and put the ball in the box off of it. For Rovers, they got to get it down and move it and try and get Sutton running to try and chase the ball.
Yeah. That's the main thing. Move. We got to move the ball quicker. We got to try and, like you said, basically just try and get at them. It's a completely different pitch, of course. The size and the quality of the pitch is completely different to Sutton's. And like you said, it's all about. Again, I don't think we're depending on sort of the personnel we play. I still don't think we'll really win much balls if they're in the air. We need to keep it on the ground and just play it quick. And like you both said, start well. I think that's the main thing, because I think, like you said, if we can get an early goal, then hopefully we can sort of, and then they'll have to come out more. We know. They're pretty much most of the time. To be fair, they can play it well on the floor, but as we know, their main threats are, when they get it in the box. I think it was Richie Bennett who got the goal, who's on the thumbnail in the last game, and of course their 2 wingers are very good as well. So they can play it on the floor, and they can get their wingers involved, like we've seen in the last away game. I thought they were very good. Ravi saying, question for what are realistic? Well, realistically, we're trying to get into the playoffs, but it all depends on if injuries and performances. Really, again, like we said, we need to start winning games now. Get back to winning ways after this sort of short period where we haven't won in 3. Saul off walking outside the club bar, so that's promising. Yeah, but I don't think he's been in training yet. or physically. So I still think he's probably 2-3 weeks, if that. How many first-team players played against us in the FA Cup for Sutton? I'm not sure. I'll have to look. Probably pretty much the same players I would have thought, because their squad isn't very big. So pretty much the same I would have thought. Don't you think we look disjointed in the first half, as we don't feel a settled team through injury? I mean, yeah, maybe, but I thought it was just, like Neil said, I thought the confidence from the Oldham game was, I think we was a bit down, and we didn't, I think obviously, and it's been like that most of the season at home anyway. Even if we play well the game before, we just don't start well. If we win 4 points out of Mansfield and Sutton, two of the best in the league as it stands, is a good sign of where we were losing 3-1 at home to these sorts of... Yeah, definitely. I think our home form, of course, have we seen over the last... I think it's 3 games with a clean sheet and 4 games unbeaten, if I'm not wrong. So, yeah, it is, of course, it's a good sign. But now, of course, with Sutton's poor away form, of course, we know it's going to be tough, but we really do need to get back to winning ways. Of course, especially with, we've got Sutton, then Stevenage away, then Orient away. Orient haven't won in 9 games, haven't scored in their last 3. And then it's Exeter. So especially the next 3 games, we need to try and get, hopefully, maximum points, fingers crossed. Although it is going to be tough. Do you have any... Yeah, we got plenty of game changers. Of course, Evans is a big miss, though. But yeah, we've still got game changers. It would be nice to see go in front. Yeah, front foot early on at the men. We rarely do. Although when we tend to mess it up, like Swindon and Tranmere. Yeah, our squad depth's good. But it all depends really on, like you said, injuries. But I'm excited for that. Yeah, we got you at the end of the month, so that should be interesting. Exeter going to be a tough game. They won again, didn't they, on the weekend? Big up to Niall as well. Big up Charlie and the 2 other people. Big up to you as well. I'll see you in the comments on Maisie's show at 7:30. Yeah, it should be a good game, Exeter. Of course, we've already conceded 9 goals, 10 goals against them this season in 2 games. But yeah, it's going to be a good test. But of course, now we'll quickly get into Sutton's games, actually. So yeah, obviously, we drew to them. They beat Carlisle, of course, and drew to Northampton in the games before. But their last 2 since they played us, they drew 0-0 with Salford at home and drew 1-1 with Forest Green on the weekend. Sutton also went 1-0 up. So like we said, it's still going to be hard, but we really do need to try and get something out of this game, preferably a win, especially this is our game in hand also. And yeah, of course, Rovers, we've drew 2, 1-2 and lost 1 of our last 5. And like we said, we need to get back to winning ways. But of course, going into lineups now, starting off with Benji first. What are you going for against Sutton? And of course, everyone else, get your thoughts of your predictions, and of course we'll get on to score predictions as well in a minute. But yeah, Benji, what are you thinking?
I'm making one change, and it's a change that might please Neil, because I've removed Elliot Anderson from the lineup. But that's for a reason. I think he'll have his game. But so I want to get Collins back doing what he does best, and that's having that freedom to run across lines between them and do what he wants. And so that, I'll come to that in a sec. But I think the back 5, and in fact the back 7 pick themselves if we're playing 4-2-3-1. Actually, sorry, there is another change I forgot, because Grant wasn't playing on the weekend, was he? So if Grant's available, I know he's had his injection recently. If Grant's available, he comes in at left back. Enton had a decent game. Wasn't fantastic against Oldham on Tuesday, but then he wasn't really helped by Keane Harris. So we've got Belshaw with Hall, Taylor, Connolly, and Grant at the back. Coots and Finley are in midfield. That's nailed on. Harry Anderson continues, so maybe good to see if he can progress from his second half performance. He's got the sort of speed you'll need to, as Neil was saying, we need to pass it around them as quickly as we can, and so you'll need a lot of speed to get in behind. And so Harry Anderson continues. Elliot Anderson drops out, and Collins moves into that slot behind the striker. Nicholson carries on the left, and Harvey Saunders comes in up top. I want to see some fight and some aggression in that team. And I think in the last game, Harvey Saunders wasn't quite ready. He had quite a few substitute appearances, made a bit of a difference. Even when he, even when he hasn't had, borne fruit with what he's done, he's just still been at that willing runner, and you're going to need that all day long. So Saunders comes in up top. There's some interesting things to note on the bench, though. I think that there's a possibility we might see Nolan on the bench. In the last interview I saw from Barton, he was saying that Nolan's right at the back end now of his return to fitness, and he could be ready for this game. Whether it's a game too soon, we don't know. We do have other options as well, but some players are going to start missing out, and I think Spence and Harries will miss out from the bench this time, because we've got Anderson dropping back to the bench, and if you include Nolan, then you've also got Thomas Whelan and Elliot Anderson and Leon Clark on as well. The bench is also important because Leon Clark's going to play a big part in that as well. Even if it's half an hour at the end or 20 minutes at the end, he'll play a big part in that, I think. Who knows who for, but that's my lineup, and I'm interested to see if we get to see any of Nolan. Probably not, maybe not, but I want to see Collins back at his best, and hopefully that could be a difference for us.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That's interesting. 2 changes, which is interesting. I'll quickly go through a few comments before we get on to Neil's lineup. Do you recommend going Stevenage? Yeah, why not? Should be well over 500.
As a tourist or to watch football? Not as a tourist, no.
Yeah, I mean, there's well over, I think, 500 tickets. I still haven't got mine yet. I need to get mine tonight. But yeah, I think Neil and Benji are both going as well. So, and it's a big game, of course. Pretty much sort of a Rovers derby, really. Ex-manager, a few players, so, and a game you desperately need to win. Big up Charlie and the Rovers Gang Quality channel. Appreciate it, Ravi. Appreciate the support. Also, if you haven't hit the like button already, please do. There's nearly 30 of you watching on the live. If you are enjoying it, please do smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Simon saying good run with Thomas in the team, dropping for no reason versus Oldham and not created since. Saunders coming on for Anderson Saturday instead of Thomas was a disgrace. I feel livid right now. 100% PS, 100% penalty. Yeah. Big up to Chris as well. Appreciate your support as always. Got you next month, haven't we? Carlisle away. It should be an interesting one. I'll have to get you on the channel if you want to. Big up, Ravi saying big up Chris for, and he's also Liverpool fan. Sorry, but yeah, Neil, getting on to your lineup. Of course, get your lineups in the comments if you haven't already left one. But yeah, what are you saying for Neil? Are you making changes, going with the same lineup, etc.?
Yeah, I'd make a couple. I think you start with Belly, Taylor, Connolly, haul it right back. Again, I don't think Grant will be fit. I just don't think he will from what the noises are coming out. I don't think he'll make it. So Anderton will have to go in at left back. But Adjuboy and being backed up with Jokers, he running at Anderton, it gives me nightmares, to be honest. I just don't fancy that one bit. Then he'll have Coots and Finley as a screen in front of that. And then I'd go with Saunders one side and Anderson the other, because I just think you've got to help our fullbacks out with Adjuboy and the Dutch lad that plays on the other side. What is it? Boldewijn?
Boldewijn, yeah.
Yeah, I just think you get someone like Anderson and Saunders who are willing raw runners. They can go one way and they can go the other, and they can push people like Jokers back, because he will look to try and join in if he can to get the ball in the box. And then I play Luke Thomas in the L, to be honest, because I think you got to get people on the half turn. That back four is going to sit right on its 18-yard line. I think they're probably going to play like that, Davis, and they're probably bringing that Harry Beautyman who'll play in there with him. And I think if Luke Thomas can sit in that pocket and try and receive things on the half turn, because we can't turn you just can't turn Sutton round. They're too deep, so you've got to try and play between the lines. As difficult it is, because they just want to get into a scrap with you. But like I said to you when we were at Peterborough, Luke Thomas needs to be busy. You can't let him go through spells of a game where he's just inactive, because his head just goes west and he goes missing without games. If you can make him the centrepiece, you've got a better chance of getting a performance out of him, where you can get him the ball in good areas more often than not. So I play him in there against Sutton, because I think it'd just suit him to be in that pocket in front of those two lump centre halves and in between sort of Davis and Beautyman, where he's just going to have a free pocket in his own on a 4-4-2. You can get him the ball. And then I play Collins up top off of that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, it's tough. Big up to Rory, though. I appreciate you tuning in as always. Yeah, definitely get that sorted. Matt's is going for saying I'll take either. Well, Belshaw in goal, Hall, Taylor, Connolly, Anderson, Coots, Finley, right wing, Anderson, Cam, Elliott, Anderson, Luke Thomas on the left, and then Aaron Collins up front. Do you think what Jerry watches the vlogs? Be interesting to know if he does. It'd be nice to see if he does, but I doubt it. I don't think. It would be interesting because I don't think they would say anyway. And they'd probably just focus on their football instead of watching other fans say about them. So yeah, good luck on Maisie's quiz tonight. Yeah, I know our quizzes are hard. Yeah, it should be interesting. I'll probably do crap. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's an interest. I mean, for me, obviously Belly in goal, right back Luca Hall, centre backs Taylor, Connolly, left back, of course. If Grant is fit, then I would play him, but if not, Anderton. I would go, for me personally, I would go Whelan and Coots, sitting in front of the back four. I would go Finley in Cam because I think he likes playing, and I know he missed the last game against Sutton, didn't he, due to injury. So for me, and he can, even though he's quite a small player, he can still get up and win aerial battles, and he's a fighter. So I would, and he knows where the net is as well. He scored a few goals this season. So for me, I would play, Finley just behind Collins, but also of course helping out the midfield. On the right, I'd play Anderson, left Nicholson, and then Collins up top. So I would only, if Grant is back fit, then that's two changes. But if it's only that one, then yeah. So yeah, pretty much same formation, but obviously, interesting to see. Obviously, all of us have pretty much got a different few changes and players coming in. Matt saying if Grant is fully fit, I might put him as left back and drop Connolly. What, so as in, who would you play centre back then if you're dropping Connolly? Maybe Anderson, I don't know. Yeah, maybe do that. I think maybe, because I know although Connolly's been pretty good, I think, especially first half, he's quite a small centre back, isn't he, Connolly? He's only 5'10", so maybe Anderson in centre back possibly, with Taylor. But yeah, that's our lineups. But getting into score predictions, make sure you get your score predictions down in the comments below. Of course, keep smashing the like button if you haven't already. But yeah, Benji, getting on to you first. What are you going for score prediction?
2-0 guess. I think the clean sheets will continue. I just think that we might give ourselves a few scares, but I do actually think we'll go and we'll get at them from the front foot this time. We've got the runners that we need to do it. I actually really like Neil's suggestion of Thomas in the hole. I was saying that earlier in the show, but I wouldn't necessarily start him against Sutton because of physicality. I think you kind of lose some, having Whelan as a shield, you lose some dynamism. So that's why I prefer Finley in there. Then I thought perhaps we might be better off using Finley further forward because of the physicality. But I do like the Thomas thing in there. I think we've got a lot of creativity, and if we zip the ball around, stick to our game, we're up for the fight. We'll win the first and second balls, then we'll do the job. We've shown we can do it on our patch, and that was 2-1, wasn't it? And so I back us to do that, but then keep a clean sheet this time. Yeah,
interesting. I mean, just as another one, who are you going for goal scorers? I know we don't usually do that, but who do you reckon scoring?
I'm going to go Thomas and Collins.
Tom, yeah, it'd be good to see because he hasn't scored yet, has he, in the league, Thomas? It'd be nice for him to finally get off the mark.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, Benji going with a 2-0. Matt's is actually going with my thing now. He wants to Finley and Cam, drop Elliott Anderson. And yeah, big up to Hero Brian as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's go Rovers, he's saying. But yeah, Neil, what are you going for? And of course, everyone in the comments keep getting your predictions in. But yeah, what are you going for, Neil? Confident?
I don't know, mate. I could see this going anyway. To be honest, I could see us winning it, drawing it, and losing it. To be honest. I mean, they got a decent point at the weekend, didn't they, Sutton, against Forest Green? So, I don't know. I'll say we'll win 1-0, but I'll be lying if I said I'm dead confident. Like I said, I could see it. I could see us drawing it. I could see us winning it. I think the Tuesday night thing helps. I think on a Saturday it could be anything.
Tuesday night at the moment under the lights.
Tuesday night under the lights. I think we got that's our best opportunity to get 3 points. I think, and they're bound to have put an hard shift in against Forest Green, and that turnaround to come to us on a Tuesday night. Yeah, I'll go 1-0 for the sake of being positive.
Who's getting the goal?
I can't see a scoring from open play at the minute, so I'll say Connor Taylor header from a corner. I think we scored a penalty at home against them last time. I think it was Anderton header, wasn't it, from a corner?
Yeah, Anderton header and a Collins penalty.
Yeah, I'll go with Connor Taylor from a dead ball.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It'd be nice for him to get another goal. I think he's missed a few headers in the last few games, but it'd be nice. For me, big up to Paul as well, tuning in as always. I'm all good, thanks. But yeah, for me, I don't know. This is tough. I really want us to win. I'm going to say 2-0. I'm going to agree with Neil. I'm going to go for a Taylor goal as well from a set piece, but I'm also going with a Collins. I think he'll get fouled again and hopefully not get booked for diving. And yeah, I'm going for a Collins penalty and a Taylor header. So yeah, 2-0 Rovers for me. Get to some comments. Matt is going for a 2-1 Rovers win. Vaughan says, cheers for the quality vlog, guys. No worries. Appreciate you tuning in. And he's going with a 2-0 Rovers win as well. Gordo 2.0 is going with a 1-0 Rovers win. So another clean sheet. Tom as well is going with a clean sheet. Collins at the double. That'd be nice for him to get back on the... and Collins and Finley with the goals. Jax Ford is going with also a 2-0 win. Collins and Coots top bin penalty. Yeah, he likes a penalty, Coots. And Chris is going with a 1-1 draw. That's something I don't want, but I can see it happening. But I really hope we get back to winning ways. But yes, it's interesting. A lot of people think we're going to win. Of course, me, Benji, and Neil have also gone with the win. Yeah, if you haven't, get your prediction in. If you haven't already, we'll be ending it in a sec. Simon also saying a 3-0 win. Wow, if we can win 3-0, that'd be mad. Although we do need a left back in the ilk of Paul Hardiman. Kieran West also saying I'm going for a draw. Not really confident Sutton are in good form. Yeah, and they're hard to beat. Paul's saying I'm going with a 2-0 gas win against Sutton, so another win and another clean sheet. It would be nice, to be honest with you. Yeah, we're pretty much going to end it here. Of course, we'll be back on Wednesday, hoping to talk about a win, and of course, doing our Stevenage preview at the same time and going over the Sutton game. Of course, as always, appreciate everyone tuning in.
Before you end, Charlie, we've won one big thing that we haven't talked about, and that's Gas Girls have just won the league, haven't they? So just a massive shout out to them.
Gas Girls.
Up the Gas Girls, incredible performance. I think they've only lost one game and drawn one game this season. And when I checked recently, the tables showed plus 55 goal difference. That's absolutely insane. So what an achievement up the Gas Girls. Hopefully not the only Gas team bringing them some silverware or some accolades this season, but big shout out to them.
Yeah, I mean, I actually forgot because I tweeted it out earlier about it as well. So yeah, fair play to them. What a season. I think they 4-0 win today as well to secure league champions. And yeah, fair play. What a season. Like you said, the goal difference is mad. And yeah, hopefully as well, hopefully Rovers can somehow get in the playoffs and get a playoff. But, we'll see what happens. But yeah, what a season for them. Of course, they're quite a new team as well. Only been doing it, aren't they, the last sort of couple of years. Or was it the first season? I'm not sure because it was weird because it used to be like sort of joint, didn't it? There used to be, I think it used to just be called like Rovers Bristol Women's or something like that. And then of course, I think it was to do with there wasn't a lot of involvement, and now they're obviously both teams now have got teams, and it was obviously really good to see that we've got another, Bristol Rovers Women's, of course, the Gas Girls, and what a win for them. Fair play. Riley's also going in with a prediction. 2-0 Rovers, Aaron Collins and Harry Anderson. Lewis has said 1-0 Gas, early doors while Tom is still taking the knee. A few more comments. Gas said 95 evening to you. What do you make of Barton's message to the fans before the game? Yeah, I thought it was good to see. What about you two? Going with Benji first. What did you make of Barton's message?
People like to interpret that in different ways. If you judge by Twitter, I personally enjoyed reading it. A lot of people took it to say him saying to people stop being negative. I don't think that's the case. I just think like he's just trying to do his bit to like G everyone up. There's going to be Barton haters out there who don't like the message and think that it's him trying to say stop being negative or don't come. I don't think that. I think when you look at the city, we're at the business end of the season now, right? And we'll always do our bit. There will always be moaners as well, but I think he's just trying to do our bit because when you're at this stage of the season, you need every last little bit. He knows the importance of the mem and the 12th man as it's called, and I think he's just trying to G up as many people as he can. People are going to take that differently. Some people might not respond to it. Some people might respond negatively to that, but a lot of people will respond positively to that. I think he put a lot of thought and effort into it, and he was clearly trying to find words to stir people up and just get our support, and that's what we need. And ultimately, the Gas has been fantastic home and away this season. Might not have always been best atmosphere at the men, but we've shown our support by travelling away in numbers and getting some big results. So I thought it was a good message from Joey.
Yeah, I agree. Neil, what about you? What did you make of it, or you just like, fair enough and all that?
Yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to it. It's just a good bit of PR, and he throws it out there. He wants us to go and make the place as hostile and as raucous as it can be. It's fair enough, really, but it's going to fall on a lot of deaf ears. You know what I mean? I've been going to the Mem long enough to know that even when we had that the National League season, there's still moaners and whingers, and they're in the stand then. So yeah, I ain't got a problem with it. You say it, put it out there, it's fine. But people they are, aren't they? People, and they'll go and they'll be how they are. You can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Big up to Ethan as well. Appreciate you tuning in. I feel like if we play someone up top, I mean, you could play Spence, but I don't think Spence is hardly going to play any games. And obviously you could play Saunders, but then it means you don't really have a sort of a striker unless you bring off Spence off the bench. But of course we don't. He hasn't played since when was the last game you
he started against Peterborough, didn't he? And
Peter, but he was playing like midfield. So we don't really know. But yeah, we're gonna end it here. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate the support as always. Appreciate Neil and Benji for coming on. Another good chat about the Gas, of course. But yeah, like we said, hopefully we'll be back. Well, we will be back on Wednesday, and hopefully it is talking about a Rovers win. Fingers crossed. And yeah, smash a like if you already haven't. Please do subscribe. Like I said, support is always quality. So I appreciate that. Yeah, fingers crossed the win on Tuesday night up the Gas.